Greetings. My name is Christina Nelson. I'm a census taker with the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, better known as STATIN. Mortality questions are not the easiest questions to deliver as a census taker or receive as a respondent. Questions like this one require a bit more delicacy in approach and delivery. Why? Mortality relates to death, and some details of the event is required. Asking these questions of the respondent may be painful for them and may make them feel uncomfortable. Also, the memory associated with the death may rehash emotions that they would not want to show in the presence of others. Therefore, these questions require the census taker to be very sensitive. Nicole here is interviewing Arnold. Please pay careful attention to how the question may be asked.
Mr. Arnold, has any member of this household died since January 1, 2021?
Yes.
Please give me the number of the persons from this household who have died since January 1, 2021, their sex, age, and date of death, please.
Yes. That's my mother,
So sorry to hear.
who lived here with me. She died about a year ago. She was 87.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact date she died. Let me go get the death certificate.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I miss my mom.
Did you see that? Let's talk about Nicole's delivery. We as census takers have to be sensitive to the verbal and non-verbal cues. Did you see the way Arnold reacted to the question? It was made clear that the topic of his mother's death is a sensitive topic for him.
Here we go.
Thank you.
She died the 17th of May, 2021.
Thank you. Does her passing fall into any of the following categories? Violence, suicide, accident, or natural cause?
Accident.
Oh, so sorry. The worst part is over though. Thank you for answering.
You saw what happened when Nicole asked the follow-up question. Her tone became more sympathetic and consoling. It's a difficult part of the job, seeing someone on the verge of tears and feeling responsible for digging up that memory. But it's a part of the job. You will encounter persons who had household members die weeks, even days before you knock on their door. It is important to maintain your composure while doing so. It will put your interviewee at ease and help you complete your interview. So you've arrived at section 1 in the individual questionnaire, titled Functional Disability. Questions like these can be uncomfortable, but your tactful approach to the question will help you in your delivery. Functional disability seeks to determine whether the respondent has any form of physical or mental disability and is to be asked of persons 5 years and over. In order to set the respondent at ease before asking this question, which might be seen as very sensitive, begin by saying the next set of questions ask about difficulties you may have doing certain activities because of a health problem. Read each category listed and score the level of difficulty experienced for each condition. The level of difficulties range from no difficulty to cannot do it at all. If the respondent uses an aid, score the level of difficulty when the aid is used. For example, for someone who wears glasses, score the level of difficulty with the glasses for seeing. For someone who uses a hearing aid, score the level of difficulty with the hearing aid at hearing. For someone who uses a walker or a walking stick, score the level of difficulty with that aid.
Veronica, for each question, indicate whether or not you have no difficulty, some difficulty, a lot of difficulty, or if you cannot do it at all.
Okay.
Do you have difficulty seeing even if wearing glasses?
I do have some difficulty. You won't believe how many things are happening with my eyes.
Just like that, you continue to go through the options until you are finished with the section. Follow what Nicole did, and you will have the responses you need in no time. Please note that the question is to be asked of persons 5 years and over, whether they use an aid or not. In the final analysis, it is the level of difficulty which will be used to classify the population. Let's talk about union status. These questions indicate the type of family associations or relationships in which men and women are involved. Union status is not to be confused with legal marital status. Union status refers to the actual relationship in which a man or woman is involved. A man or woman can be involved in either of the following. He or she could be legally married and living with a person to whom he or she is married. He or she could be living together with a partner to whom he or she is not legally married. This is referred to as common law. He or she could be in a visiting relationship. This is not a casual relationship and must involve sex. In this relationship, they do not live together. It is important to note that because we are interested in union status and not legal marital status, we have to find out from men and women who are married whether they are currently living with their wives or husbands. We have to differentiate marriage by means of religious and legal proceedings from a union which is of a mutual or agreed arrangement, including living situation.
I would like you to answer yes or no to the following questions. Are you currently living with your husband?
No.
Are you currently living with someone as a common law partner?
No.
Are you currently in a visiting, intimate, sexual relationship?
All that too?
Yes, Ashley. I know how intrusive this may be, but it's very important for us to have an idea of the persons who are at risk of having a child. And this is linked to the type of union you are in.
All right, yes. Yes, I am.
And how long have you been in this relationship?
No, that you not get me for answer.
The responses, as I've told you before, will remain confidential. And when the data is published, no one will be able to see your specific response or even identify who said it, as the information will be disseminated in aggregate.
Listen, lady, me still not answer that question.
No problem. You have been doing great so far, and I'm really grateful for how you answered. Thank you. Now we move on to the fertility section.
It's now time to ask Jody here some questions about fertility. The questions are of a very personal nature, and you must assure the respondents that this type of information is very crucial to population planning, as they provide very useful indicators of population growth. Be very careful when asking the questions of young women. In all instances, you must assure the parents and the youth how important these questions are to the study of and planning for issues related to reproductive health among the female population 12 to 49 years. Reassure them of the confidentiality clause regarding census data collection.
Fertility questions like, if I can have a child?
No, Jody, but I'll be interested in asking you questions like, how many live-born children have you had? You may include a child who was alive but died.
Oh well, that means I would have to include Crystal. She was 1 month old when she died, but I have 2 children, Nigel and Tiffany.
How many live in this household with you?
Just 1. Nigel only spends holidays with us, so it's just me and Tiffany.
How old were you when you had your first and last child?
21 with Nigel and 30 with Tiffany.
And what about Crystal? Where does she fall?
She was my firstborn. I had her when I was 19.
Thank you.
We are interested in how old she was when she had her first and last child. In talking with Jody, we discovered that she has 3 live-born children. Even though Crystal died young, she was born alive. Even if a child lives for only minutes after birth, they are considered live-born and should be considered. You should ask question 7.7 after 7.6. If the answer is no, then go to the next section. If yes, follow through and ask the relevant questions following the skips. Being a census taker is much more than being someone who asks questions. You are being trusted with the task to help Jamaica grow. You have to become someone your interviewees trust and feel confident sharing their information with.